Sometimes people who are intuitive, they don't know the difference between their intuition versus their hypervigilance. Stop trying to always read into what someone's feeling or thinking, and stop assuming what someone thinks or feels because they're acting a certain way or they're making certain facial expressions or because you're energetically feeling something, because you still don't know. Especially if we're dealing with personal situations, your personal relationships, you don't want to dehumanize the people around you. You want to give them the chance to actually express how they want to express themselves. If they want to communicate something to you directly, then they can do that. You want to give people the chance to show them to you from how they want. You don't want to project what you think they're thinking onto them. Like, be very careful. That's why I'm saying, like, especially if you are psychic or intuitive or empath, like that you call yourself these things, and you want to be extra careful, because then you're already like approaching life or your surroundings or relationships knowing that you know everything. I can say this very confidently as an oracle, as a shaman, because like my life is really about like seeing everything for what it is. But when it comes to my actual personal relationships, I try to separate that. Again, I'm not saying that I can turn off my gift. Like, I'm not saying that. However, when I'm in my human mode, when I'm in my personal relationships, dealing with my relationships, it is very important for me to see things for what they are and giving people the chance to actually show things at face value. Because what is the point of having relationships with people if I'm not trusting them to give me what they're thinking? Or if I already assume that they're thinking these things, they're feeling these things, they are their own human beings, right? They're not just characters to me. They're not just people that I already know, like what you're thinking. Like, I want these people to show up as how they want to show up for me. I think sometimes people think that it's easier to assume what someone thinks or means, because then it's easier for you to draw conclusions about what they're thinking or what the relationship is about, and maybe it's gonna give you like the justification to shut down or to pull back. But that's, once again, a trauma response, because if you truly have the openness to explore this relationship openly and like be vulnerable, there is no need for you to assume things. Like, ask them or wait for them to tell you how they feel or what this is about. And I think this is why, like, in order to build an intimate relationship, you have to be brave and you have to be mature, because without the maturity and openness and courage, you're not giving the other people the chance to show up as who they need to be for you, because you're assuming and you're projecting, and you are likely assuming the worst. So be very careful, especially when you're building intimate relationships as an intuitive person or even an empath. Like, I'm doing this because it doesn't matter what you are, because a lot of people out here calling themselves intuitive and empaths, and they're just hyper vigilant. Sensing things and being energetically sensitive doesn't make you really it doesn't really speak for your accuracy of interpretations. So just keep that in mind, because you could jeopardize a lot of your relationships by assuming how people think. Do not make people around you as NPCs. These people have their own psyches and thoughts and ways of processing information. If you want to actually build real intimacy, ask them directly or wait for them to talk to you. Don't create scenarios in your head that don't exist in reality.